I love when I pick songs and don't listen to the whole thing, so I don't really know what it is, but now we're getting to a better part. Hello, welcome into Tech Weekly, episode 39. I'm your host, Nick Jones, along with
Jacob Roberts,
America's favorite co-host. Actually, I guess pretty much the world's favorite co-host, Jacob Roberts. Here on PBcastTV.com and the PBcast TV Podcast Network, Jeff, because we are a podcast network. You know about that? I think you did know about that, but anyway, we are live on what is today? I don't even know.
PBcast TV is a proud member of the Geek News Network.
Anyway, it is March 12th, 2011, Saturday. As a matter of fact, we do this show every Saturday morning, live.pbcasttv.com. So, Joe, how are you doing on this Saturday morning?
I am on trace hours of sleep.
Trace hours, yeah, I know, because you went to birthday party last night.
Yeah, and didn't get in till 1:20.
Whoa, I just like... Alright, anyway. Yeah, I
In the
noticed
morning,
that
actually.
because I watched the vlog, youtube.com/freakinghuge. And,
Check that out.
well, like you were having some fun. That kind of reminded me, the first thing that came to mind when you were doing, like, cosmic bowling, even though this probably didn't come to your mind, is the PB at Night episode we did the other night where we were, like, dancing and stuff, and
Yeah.
it was like a rave, and there was, like, flashing lights and stuff.
Like, for a good, 15 minutes, I sat there and just stared at my hand as it was flashing multicolors. I was like, yeah, it was nice.
You didn't really care about the bowling part, you were just looking at the flashy lights.
Yeah. I always forget to cut my fingernails before I go bowling. So then my thumb starts to hurt because the edge of my fingernail always grabs onto the bowling ball.
Yeah. Hey, it
Yeah.
happens.
And after half a game, I'm done.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, cosmic bowling. But anyway, I got a lot of stuff to talk about, Jay. For everybody who's new, I think we got a couple new people in the chat room.
What's up?
Tech Weekly is where we talk about the latest and greatest tech news. And there's a lot of tech news just about each and every week. So, yeah, see, I'm still getting happy with the switcher thing that I'm using. So I'm like, if you just see me randomly switch to something, that's probably why.
You switch too much, and it's like your dad
Yeah.
eating some
I'm
chips.
just
You're like, whoa, what the crap?
Oh my gosh, what just happened?
I don't remember. Put a camera there.
Yeah. So, Jay, we talked about Charlie Sheen on the last PB at Night that we did. I think it was the PB at Night before last. We did on Monday. We talked about Charlie Sheen and all his stuff, and I don't really want to go into depth what's going on with him. Essentially, Jeb, you did the best at describing what happened to him. He got 2 million Twitter followers in 4 days or something. Anyway, and he's been tweeting about different stuff. But remember, Jeb? I think we covered this back in the summer during the BP oil spill. I think we kind of briefed over this, or it was a bookmark or something. I know we did something like this, but anytime that BP was on the web during that BP oil spill thing, you could download a Google Chrome plugin or whatever, and it would actually, every time you see BP, it would black it out and make it look like there was oil stains around it, or like there was oil dripping off of it. So I thought that was pretty funny. Well, there's a new one of these, and it's for the Charlie Sheen era of the internet. It's kind of weird how we have different eras and different times where things like this are popular, because 6 months from now nobody's gonna be what, a Charlie Sheen plugin that blocks out Charlie Sheen? I mean, who cares, But since the web has been talking about Charlie Sheen a lot, this is pretty funny. You can download it, and it so here's an example. Somebody did if you have this installed, it simply just takes
whatever colored text it is and blacks it out.
Yep, that's pretty cool. So I'm guessing they did a Charlie Sheen
Fine replace.
Yeah, something. Anyway, but it's still pretty funny. It installs in seconds. It's just a plugin. You just hit install or whatever. It's it's easy to download. I just thought it was pretty funny. I know this isn't really a news story, but I thought
Doesn't
it was
it just make it that much more obvious that Charlie Sheen's all over your page?
Yeah, because you probably would grace over, especially a lot of his, a lot of the things that says his name. You'll just be like, oh yeah, whatever. But every time you're on Twitter and somebody says Charlie Sheen, it's not going to be boxed out if you did that. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah. I just blue boxed, inspired by Black Box's proclamations that he has tiger blood.
Yes.
Stars weigh in on blue box sacking. Wikipedia, green box.
Yeah. So, Joe, we've been talking about Amazon a lot lately, especially there was a PB at Night. A lot of things that we cover actually happen on PB at Night before they do on Tech Weekly because they're PB at Night's almost a nightly show.
Yeah.
This is an interesting story because we were talking about Amazon and they're doing a lot with their Prime members because used to Prime membership on Amazon used to literally mean that you just got you paid $70 a year and you got free 2-day shipping on pretty much anything you ordered, which I paid for it,
If you order a bunch of stuff, I mean, that pays for itself in a couple months.
Yeah, especially if you don't, every once in a while you can grab free shipping, or a lot of times you can grab free shipping on Amazon just because, like, you're a new customer or you've made so many orders or whatever. But the cool thing is, essentially any product on Amazon that you find, you can get free shipping on. Like, I think Leo Laporte even uses Amazon Prime to, like, schedule his orders, so you can order, like, he orders, like, toilet paper every 3 months or something. I mean, it was either toilet papers or paper towel or something. I mean, yeah, you could just go to the store. But anyway, a couple weeks ago, they introduced this new streaming service that actually allowed you to stream. They have, like, a 5,000 movie streaming archive or, whatever. And it's kind of like Netflix. It actually really compares to Netflix in a lot of ways. And it's actually, their library is bigger than Netflix library was when they first launched the streaming. Remember that, Jeff? They used to just do DVDs, but now a lot of people depend on streaming for Netflix and whatnot. But yeah. Did JS video freeze? Oh, no. You were just staring at one place.
Sorry,
I was
just sitting very still.
I was just sitting there. I'm like, anyway. But the story for this week this came out of CNET News. Could Amazon be considering free Kindles for their Prime members? There's more and more rumors floating around Seattle at this point that Amazon is likely around the 2011 holiday season to offer their Amazon Prime subscribers with free Kindles. That's pretty cool in my opinion. What's a Kindle now? Like $199? No, I think it's a $149 or
$125.
I think it is $129. But still, I mean, come on, free Kindles for $70 a year. And plus you get free shipping and 5,000 movies. I mean, this is just a rumor, but wouldn't that be pretty cool, I guess? Especially if you're already a subscriber like me. That's, if you're already paying the $70 and they've introduced these new things, 2 new things that you weren't even expecting to pay for, that would be pretty cool, you have to admit.
Yeah.
But, Jay, honestly, I think this kind of makes sense. I mean, how many people actually think that... I mean, I know Apple makes a lot of money on hardware, especially for iPods, but now when they're selling iPods for $140, $139, how much of because you're pretty much locked in if you're going to buy anything. It works best with an iTunes account. So essentially, I mean, they get revenue off every dollar that's spent on iTunes. So, and I think it's like a 70-30, so they're getting a pretty hefty amount. So I mean, this kind of makes sense considering that Amazon's not really a hardware company after all.
Yeah, and the Kindle is it's just button interface, right? It's not touchscreen, right?
No, it's not touchscreen.
Yeah, so you got the e-ink screen, which is nothing. I mean, and then a single board. I don't think they have any kind of, or they might have some kind of side connectors, but
I think it's got like one. It's just got a USB port that you can sync up,
which is mounted on the board.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a single circuit board. They're able to mass produce these very, very, very cheaply.
Yeah.
You got like 2 shells. I'm just looking at it on a manufacturing standpoint. I mean, they don't got nowhere near half of $129 in it. They might got like $10 in it. They're able to offer these for free.
Yeah.
Just because.
Now, granted, I think Apple more than Amazon, much more than Amazon, is a hardware company before they're a software, like a revenue, making their revenue. Yeah. But Amazon is directly. All they do is want to get that Kindle in your hand and get you to pay.
Well, yeah. Well, see, you also got to think. If you have a Kindle,
you're gonna buy
it's
from
an Amazon Kindle,
yep.
All you can do is buy books from Amazon. Correct?
Yeah. Well, you can only... So, essentially, it has Wi-Fi or 3G.
Yes.
And you can AirSync only to Amazon. There's actually... Well, okay, you're right. If you don't hack anything, if you don't do anything, essentially you have to use
the avid book reader that's buying this to read books without books would get this thing and go,
Yep.
oh, what Amazon book do I want today?
Yep.
So Amazon should be giving this free to everybody, I think. Now, somebody might probably not do right things with that and might, you know,
Yeah.
I guess they figure if you're paying a yearly fee on Amazon, well, here, have a Kindle. Because you use Amazon enough to actually pay us money,
Yeah.
you know?
I think
So-
I think they're it's kind of a reward, but like you said, I think it is. They're guaranteeing that. I think, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean,
more.
they're not wanting to give it to everybody just yet, just because, hey, the hacker down the street might want it just to play his Xbox on or something. I don't know.
No, I mean that is true. It's kind of like it's kind of the opposite of what Google did with the CR48. You know, Google could have done something like, we could just send this out to Shay Carl and some other people who use all of Google's services, but instead they just said, all right, we have 10,000, or not exactly, but we have 10,000 devices that we're going to ship out. Whoever applies, we'll just pick them randomly and we'll send them out. I think this is pretty cool. And plus, you know, you got to think about this from a, you know, I've been reading Gary Vaynerchuk's new book, The Thank You Economy. This doesn't really have that much to do with anything, but he always says, even though we're on the internet, the spoken word or spoken, you know, people talking about things, chattering about things face to face is still the number. That's still, if you're producing online content and things, you want people to talk about you in real life, not only on the web. So if I go to Jacob's house tomorrow and say, hey, Amazon just gave me this new Kindle that I got for free because I'm an Amazon Prime subscriber, and I, you know, give this to him, show it off, whatever, they're going to be like, oh, and Jacob doesn't have one. He's going to be like, this is awesome. I'm going to be an Amazon Prime subscriber. I'm going to buy one. So
and now they just got $75 more a month or a year that, you know, they're probably got some kind of thing worked out where they can get free shipping anyways.
I mean,
they're not losing
No.
money when you're doing Prime.
there's no way they are. I mean,
They're getting it from somewhere else.
yeah.
They're either charging someone else more shipping that's not Prime or something. They're not losing money because you just did Google Prime
Yeah,
or
Amazon.
Google Prime. Whoa! I just made a new.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do it.
Prime.google.com. I'm sorry, that's already been reserved. No.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I don't, like you said, I don't think they're going to lose anything. If anything, it's just going to, I mean, oh my gosh, we're getting a call here.
It's fine.
That's me. The interesting thing is hold on. Let me reframe my, anyway.
Statements.
Yeah, statements. Here we go. I probably need to silence my phone. All right, so what was I saying? Oh, sorry. Anyway, they can guarantee that you're going to have an Amazon Prime, and they know, like we've said this already. But the interesting thing is, actually, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, pretty cool. Like we've pretty much said, they're not going to lose anything by doing this. So, yeah, pretty cool. All right, let's go to our next story since I completely forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, we talked about rock melt. There was a ton of, it was one of those things where, actually this is kind of interesting. Smoothie and I were talking about one-hit wonders because we were listening to a one-hit wonder earlier when we were just sitting around chatting. And rock melt kind of strikes me as a one-hit wonder as a startup. Everybody, because they launched it in beta, and everybody's like, dude, I want rock melt. I want.
Oh man,
beta.
social networking integrated into my browser.
Exactly.
Oh man, they don't got add-ons for that on anything.
Yeah, I know. So, and essentially we detailed before that RockMount is essentially Google Chrome. It runs on Google Chrome like Flock does. No, Flock is actually Mozilla, I think. Anyway, it runs directly on Chromium, which of course is what powers Google Chrome and a bunch of other web browsers.
It's just a custom Google Chrome.
Yep, and essentially instead of, honestly, I think they can make just as much money, just be just as successful, maybe a little bit less, or maybe a little bit less, and just release RockMelt as a pack or something that installs multiple add-ons.
Like a theme?
Yeah, like an add-on. I'm talking about like an add-on pack that would just do everything that RockMelt does in your same Google Chrome account. And I guess, I guess you would rather be like, hey, we have a download and it's our own browser. I guess that sounds better.
But when you think about it, you're like, oh, I feel like browsing the web socially. I think I'll use RockMelt today. Oh, I don't really feel like being social. I think I'll use Chrome. Oh, but now that I'm browsing non-socially, I want to be a little bit more social. I think I'll open both at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, what? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And really the story here is they actually went public this week, or not public, but they came out of beta. And I guess they went public with their product. Anyway.
They're out of beta releasing on time.
Yeah, and you know, Jet, we talked about this. This is something that TechCrunch is saying. The reviews were mixed because, you know, I mean, it's not really anything, and, you know, I mean, you're not paying anything for it, but it's still not that revolutionary. Everybody was touting it as, you know, the most revolutionary thing we've ever seen in browsing, but not really. I mean, it's pretty, honestly, it is pretty cool for an add-on, but I'm not going to use it every day, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool to play around with it for maybe an hour or something, but that's not what they're going to.
Like, wow, look, I can be constantly annoyed by people on Facebook now 24/7 while I browse the web.
Yep.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like we said, it's just one of those, everybody's wanting it. And I think it launched right around the time where there was some kind of, they launched at some conference, the TechCrunch conference or something, you know, and everybody was like, dude, we gotta have this, but...
Let's do it now, do it!
Yeah.
Shoot him, Jacob, shoot him!
But anyway, you know, yeah, Jacob saying it, yeah. Carlos saying, meh, you know, it's not really, that's kind of what I said when I looked at it too. Anyway, yeah. Jeff, if you were watching live, we were kind of tweaking the show notes here, but this is a pretty cool story. And Jacob and I were just ranting about how, you know, we use Justin.tv to stream because honestly, we still think for how we do things, Justin.tv is still one of the best solution. You know, it's just one of the best. We've tried live stream before, but one of the things I didn't like about live stream is
the live and streaming part. No, just kidding.
They did something interesting here, and it's something that Justin.tv is actually going into. Justin.tv used to be like no ads at all. I mean, no ads. You may have an ad on the side or something, and maybe they might play an ad on your video occasionally, but most of the time, no. And live stream, even back when, like a year and a half ago, or a year ago, when Jacob, we were using live stream for a little while there, they were doing this. I mean, they would add up everything, you know. They would have.
Oh, you'd be in the middle of a show, and now it's time for an ad.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, they're like, hey, give us $50 a month, and we can take this junk away.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I would still prefer what Justin.tv does, which I don't want ads at all. But if we have to do ads, I'd rather have a 10, 15-second clip at the beginning.
Yeah,
and then
nothing in between.
Yeah, I mean
until you stop the stream to stop recording, and then to start back up, and then you got to watch the ad again.
Yeah. If anything, you know, whatever. But they launched an interesting application. I mean, this is seems like they're kind of getting away from streaming a bit. Jet, we talked about their new. They came out with an Android and iPhone app about the same time. It was back in November or October or somewhere in the fall of last year. And you know, it's a good application. Jacob used it at CES. You know, he didn't have nobody has a connection at CES, so you know it really doesn't matter. But you know, you've tried it out. And it works pretty well, doesn't it? I mean, it works good enough. You can stream from your phone, pretty good quality, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, they launched a new app that is called Social Cam, and it's seen that saying here. It's not the first application by far to do video streaming, or not streaming, but video sharing on the web. I mean, there's tons of these applications out there. If you go in the Android market or the iPhone App Store or whatever, you're gonna find a ton of these. But it's kind of like 12 seconds. You remember 12 seconds? It would. Okay, well, 12 seconds was. I think it was bought by. It's kind of like Seismic. Seismic used to be a video company, you know, which nobody really remembers because now they're a very successful Twitter client, whatever. But anyway, it's a cool application, and it syncs directly with your Twitter and Facebook. And Jay, I use a service called PicPlease on my Android device, and you can use Instagram. I think Instagram's coming to Android pretty soon. And a lot of people are saying it's the Instagram of video. And I would tend to agree, because Instagram is pretty cool. You just snap the picture, you put a little comment, it uploads directly to their website, but it auto-tweets and auto-Facebooks it, everything, so it works very well. And the cool thing about Instagram is you can add effects and things. This kind of reminds me more of Path. So Instagram is kind of a social network, but not really. It's kind of like we have this app. You can look at other people's stuff inside your app that you follow, but that's about it. And we still depend on Twitter and Facebook. You know. Well, Social Cam actually has its own little. I guess it's backed by Justin TV, their infrastructure or whatever. But if you look at this picture here, you can share it to other places. You can watch directly in the application, and you can like it and comment on it, and also you can see the view count. But anyway, here's a video that was actually shared. So you can do like these multiple little things. It's like, you know, I mean, it's iPhone video quality or a little bit less, even though I don't have the volume up.
I'm here at the Social Cam party, and as I tweeted, if you want to get me to your party, have it in the Exploratorium. If you want me to get me to leave, have a live karaoke band.
So, I mean, you know, they're saying this is actually done right, and I would tend to agree, because how many startups have, or how many of these applications have a huge video production company like Justin.tv backing them? You know? I mean, Justin.tv has the services and everything to support this. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be that interesting. Because I think, you know, if you're going to upload a video, why don't you just upload it to YouTube, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Shay Carl and Charles Trippy, they both have their iPhone channels. Essentially, that's what they do on here. You know, that's what they'd be doing on here. And why would you
It's just like another service, basically.
Yeah. And, I mean, you know, I think every once in a while, a new service, you can add a new service to your life. You know, like Jacob and I used to just use Twitter and Facebook, but Foursquare and Gowalla came along. We started implementing Gowalla. You know, I mean, it works great, but Gowalla has, and Foursquare does as well, pictures. You know, you can take pictures on spot, which I know it's not video, but a lot of people use that instead of using something like Instagram. You know, you just be like, hey, I'm at Cozumel, or I'm at the PBcast TV studio. You take a picture in Gowalla, and that, you know, you've got the picture shared, you've checked in, and all that other fun stuff. So, I mean, I think this is more suited for something like Instagram or Gowalla to do. You know, actually put this in their application instead of having, you know, 5 applications that do video and audio and picture sharing. You could just have one. So, you know, whatever. I guess it's pretty cool, but I haven't downloaded it, and I probably won't download it. So, anyway, and Jay, let me pull it up here. I think it was at blog.livestream.com. But we were talking about Livestream, and they've partnered with a new company. I don't even remember the name of them now. But you can come on here. Well, actually, it's not blog.livestream.
Which I hate that they called it professional, because as soon as you put the word professional in front of something, add a 0 to the price.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. So it's called The Cube, and it's got native integration with Livestream.com. And Jay,
Which is not a cube.
Yeah, it's not a cube at all, actually. It's like a elongated, like, rectangle or something, kind of. Anyway, it's a pretty cool concept. And Jay, we've kind of, you know, we've accomplished this with the Podzilla, which is, I know, huge, but we're not going to be walking around with a camera, you know.
Well, see, you also got to understand live stream. The way I understand this is that you can, I think you have the option to either go live directly with it, or I think it adds it as a video, because Livestream has their little web-based switcher thing.
Yeah, the studio or whatever.
Yeah, their little web-based studio. And you can actually log into the same channel, like studio channel thing, at multiple computers and put all of their webcams on it.
Yeah.
So from different, and that's like their way of merging, you know, like basically if me and Nick were on live stream, I would log into it, put my webcam up there, he would log into it, put his webcam up there, and then he would switch the videos, and then we would basically just talk back and forth via Skype. And we wouldn't record the audio from Skype. We'd record the audio from the actual stream. Well, what this is doing is you have the option of either going live completely with it via Wi-Fi,
or sending it to the studio deal.
Cellular, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it even has an Ethernet plug.
Yeah, which is...
Or you can send it to the studio as a video source to mix them with other cameras that have this device on them, or webcams, or other video, you know, stuff. Because, of course, you don't want to just throw up this $1,800 device on your camera and go, look, no lower thirds, no anything. It's just one steady, you know, that's stupid.
Yeah.
So that's the way I'm seeing it working, is it just adds it as a actual thing.
Yeah. So I've got it. The company is actually called Teradek. I think I'm saying that right. It's called the Cube, and it's a pretty small device. I mean, granted, this is it's cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool.
It's
a
basically
good
like
idea.
the size of like a 4-port switch or something.
You know what
Or
this
a
kind of
4-port hub.
Yeah, it
you
kind of
know?
reminds me, Jacob, of what about it, the size of, if anybody is familiar with the scan converter, it kind of looks like that, sort of. You
Yeah.
know,
We actually have these little things that work. Ethernet extenders. You use fiber to Ethernet, and it's about the same size.
Yeah.
So it's
it just looks like even like a VNC, a little not a VNC. What are those things called? Is that a VNC where you can like have one mouse and one keyboard with?
that's
that,
a KVM. Switch.
KVM, yeah, a VNC. I know what that is. But anyway, yeah, I get those. Too many acronyms. Anyway,
It's not that LSD stuff, man.
yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, essentially it has a SDI, which is a standard. You can use SD video or HDMI, and it kind of converts it on the fly through the cable or whatever. And it's in a lot of pro grade camcorders, and as you can see, they're partnering with Livestream. They've got a couple different ones. They've got the Q100, which is a HD to SDI encoder, $2,000. So yeah.
Like I said, professional in front of the name, and you're adding a zero.
Yep. So
Because consumer grade, this would be about $200. I might even buy one for $200 to be able to stick it on my just a camcorder that's sitting on a tripod in the room. You know,
yeah.
you have that all plugged in. It's powered up on the wall, and you got really nice, like you got a remote control. You can zoom in and out. Hey, that would be pretty nice. I would go ahead and admit that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you could bring that in with a cable, but think about it. You could have like cameras set up throughout your whole house, studio, whatever you want. Even outside, you just throw a wireless router in the middle of everything, and they all can talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's pretty cool. I'm just saying,
mean,
but not $2,000 cool.
It's a cool concept, and I think they'll probably get some sales because people are like, this is the only option. We've got to do this if we want to
I mean,
stream.
I've always wanted to run, my video camera, which will be in the same exact location as it is right now when it's wired to the computer. I always wanted to do that,
Yeah.
wirelessly, which I see how they're saying, but they need an application, or they need some kind of interface
Yeah.
that this is okay. Live stream if you're watching. I know you're not, but I'm just going to go ahead and say if you're watching, what you need is an application that you can run on your computer, log in with your live stream account, and it will bring all of those sources on the live stream account into as like webcam sources on your computer. So say you want to use Wirecast, you can actually use Wirecast and not your web-based stupid studio thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think,
I want that as a video source.
we were just talking about Chrome crashing earlier. I mean, you don't want to be producing a high-quality show like we do, and you're doing it in Google Chrome, and then it just crashes. I mean, you're screwed,
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's nothing about it. There's just nothing.
And the small time that I did Two Jakes and a Rye, which was ridiculous. I was using Livestream, and we were still I was still getting into it. I hadn't really done it much.
Yeah.
So we were going Ustream, Livestream. I don't think we ever did Justin.tv because I didn't even really know about it yet.
Yeah.
But Livestream seemed to give the best, I guess you could say, interface, sorta, because just because of whatever I was doing, I was switching 2 or 3 webcams or something stupid. But the ad thing, I didn't even know about this till like 3 weeks into the show, and somebody was like, "Why do we keep watching ads in the middle of your show?" And I'm like, "What?" And so I was like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because it has an embedded OS or something like that. I mean, I'm not going to say it because they don't actually. They're one of those companies. They're not like, oh, we do this and we use open standards and we use the blah de blah to do this and this. But essentially, you have to plug it in via a USB port or whatever kind of port they use, and you have to configure it before you even go out into the field. So you can't just buy this and hook it on your camera and be done. There's some configuring you have to. You type in your live stream account and all this other crap, and you say how many you can set the stream rate or the bit rate or whatever, and then you say like I want it in 720p or 480 something or 480p or whatever, and then you configure it, and then you're ready to go. One of the cool things I think about it is it's on camera mounted, which Jacob, you were saying.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty sweet because I think they have it where it can get its power from the hot shoe of the camera itself.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So if you want to go full portable, you can, where you're walking around with this on your shoulder. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, I mean, really and truly, when you think about it, who's going to be broadcasting stuff on live stream, live, that's doing that with professional cam? I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I see this, I see it going, but then it's like, no. Like, they're going to... If someone's got all that kind of camcorder action going on, where they got to have this being streamed to here and doing this and that, they're going to have, like, their own backbone.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It kind of reminds me of what Leo and Steve from the Tech Buzz did at CES. They used the live view with the big backpack and stuff. But see, this is essentially, you're locked into live stream first of all. I mean, live view, you can broadcast to wherever you can push video to. I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff. Essentially, it's a Windows PC in a backpack.
Yeah.
And I think this is like the one-man live view type deal because, Leo's always going to have 2 or 3 people on the crew. And honestly, I think live view is a much better option because you've got, you're not locked into Verizon. I don't know if we mentioned this, but it's got Verizon built in for streaming purposes. That's how you've got a 4G modem or whatever, MiFi. Air card or whatever, and live stream it has places for all of the 4 top wireless people in the US, so you can, if one of them's not working, you can get the other one to work or whatever. And Smooth's just saying, why don't you get a news truck? By the time you spent $2,000, you could probably buy like half a new, like with Jacob, and if Jacob and I were gonna put together a news truck, we could do it for $2,000 without paying for the truck. But
dude, we could like go get just a van for $2,000.
Yeah, I know.
Like a white like rape van, where you like kidnap people or something. I don't know. Like they got those like all day long down at the auto place. You just clean it out and just
put a computer in there,
cameras up in it. You're good to go. I mean, put a big old antenna on it. It might not even have to work, and then put the little things that come down to hold it stable. People don't know that it don't actually work. It just makes you look more professional.
And that's really the thing here is it's painted hippie colors. There's one it's interesting, but it's not worth $2,000, and pretty much we've said this, but Jay, it's kind of funny. I was just thinking about this. You were doing this at CES with your netbook and a webcam and your netbook microphone, and you're walking around the show floor and you're just talking to us on your netbook. I mean, I'm sure it got boring, tiresome holding your netbook.
Yeah, now that got tiring, but for a quick trip down to like whatever, Walmart, hardware store, whatever, I could have just taken a backpack or something and like made it to where I had like a little stand.
That would have been awesome.
And I'd just been walking around with some kind of like inverted backpack thing going on. And I could have been fully, I mean, like really, I was like, Leo like went all out with that whole thing. I'm like, he had a full-on computer.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he was trying to look cool with it, but that was kind of gooberish.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like I understand how it was, but a netbook, it don't even got to be a netbook. Like, think about this. My net top, okay? My net top. All you got to have, well, I guess their net top really wouldn't work too well. But yeah, I could have left the netbook in my backpack. Had those little glasses on that you can like see the like little screen in the eye.
That's pretty cool.
And like walked. I don't even need the screen in the eye. I'm just saying. He's like, the plans were put the laptop in the backpack, and just walk around with a webcam in your hand, which that didn't really work out too well. But
yeah, but I mean, whatever. Interesting. One of the interesting things about doing online video content and broadcasting and stuff, there's so many different ways that you can do it. I mean, if you want to do TV content, you have to have a TV studio, you have to have an airwave, you have to have all this stuff. I mean, Jacob and I, we do it one way. Steve at the Tech Buzz does it another way. Leo has his $100,000 studio that he does it another way. Now, granted, his video probably looks a little bit better than ours, but not, not much for how much.
You know what I was picturing with Leo? Like, he was probably like, well, what we need to do is just take this TriCaster and cut the case down so it'll fit on a backpack, and we need a car battery to power up the inverter to power up the 120 volts AC. Like, Leo, why don't we just use a laptop? No, that's not going to work.
Yeah, we can't use any.
We can't use laptops.
That's
no.
consumer grade.
We got to use a Linux server
Yeah.
that has fiber optic lines running to a blade switch that's like, what?
Anyway, I mean, yeah, the cool thing is you can do it on a budget. You can do it for as expensive as you want. But
dude, like, literally, like, maybe, like, $300.
yeah,
Literally.
And, I mean,
Literally.
Jacob's talking about, I mean, he was talking about how he could build one of these for like $200-$300 and use an Arduino and do all this other crap. I mean, all you need is you're
talking about these things. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, it doesn't matter,
Wrong
but
thing.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, like, okay, $100. Literally.
Yeah.
Chumby board. It's like a mini computer that can input video, USB stuff, everything. You plug a USB, like Wi-Fi, whatever thing on there, Sprint card, whatever you want to do. It's Linux based. It runs the thing. You get your little like glasses for the video input or whatever you need to do. Get it going. Auto run scripts where you don't even have to have video input. You're good to go.
Yeah.
You plug in the video, it broadcasts it. You're done.
You might look like a huge goob when you're walking around with those glasses on, but you'll still.
You go to Pinocchio.com, get you some laser cut acrylic cases made.
Yep.
I'm
And
just
you'll
saying.
be looking awesome. So, Jeff, Carlo actually mentioned this, and I'm pretty stoked about it because I've been on Chrome for a while because Firefox 3.6 does not treat me well. I know that you're a fan. I'm not hating on Firefox.
It works for me.
It's, I mean, honestly, most of the load times that I complain about is on startup. I mean, granted, you could probably even tell us this. You're going to have to sit there and wait for a little while for Firefox 3.6 to load. Like, start up. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Most of the time, every time I start mine up, it has some kind of update it needs to install and an add-on.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I don't probably notice it because it's probably already starting to run. But like, yeah, the new release candidate they got coming out, I did run their beta
Yeah.
for a while,
Before.
and it was kind of too buggy for me for a beta.
Yeah.
So I went back to the 3.15 thing or whatever it is now.
3.6. Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
3.615.
Yeah.
39334469.
Jacob kind of hinted at it. Firefox, Mozilla, they released the first release candidate, which means, 2,
It's getting
3,
close.
4 weeks, maybe a month. Yeah, Firefox 4 is going to be here. Interesting new features. I mean, it's got not a whole new UI, but it does have some more UI tweaks that are pretty interesting, and I'm pretty, I like UI tweaks. Most of the time I upgrade to the latest Ubuntu for the new, for the new whatchamacallit, for the new theme, even if I'm not going to use it. Because I'm just like, dude, I want that theme, but I'm going to change it anyway, but,
Yeah. The one thing that I was kind of like, okay, I could see this being a novelty. Maybe if I like actually try to use it, it might work right. But like the new tab thing, where like you can go over there and see like all your tabs laid out all crazy and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, that's okay. But like, I'm not the kind of guy. Like they were like, oh, you could open up a tab over here that you always look at all the time. And while you're doing some research, you can open up all these other tabs over here about all these cameras. And then you can go over here and open up all these tabs. I'm like, I don't multitask that much. I'll forget what I'm doing. I get sidetracked and I'll never get anything done.
Yeah, I have to admit,
I'm like, I'm going one route. Okay, let's get this done. Okay, got it. Okay, now let's go and get this. Okay, I got it. I'm not like, going
Yeah.
crazy or whatever.
I have to admit, I am a pretty big multi-tab user. I mean, I
No, like, I mean, if you're like Tech Weekly, okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
I got the documents opened up, and I click on your link on the thing, and it opens up a new tab. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like, I don't need like a grid system that's like,
yeah.
this is the group of Tech Weekly stuff I always have. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand.
It's weird.
Carl's saying it's a lot faster. I tend to agree, especially under Linux, it's a ton faster. I mean, you click it, it's open. It's pretty cool.
Headshot.
Yeah. And then also you've got UI tweaks. What's it? Smoothie saying in the chat room that it looks a lot slicker. It does. I'm not too big of a fan. I mean, granted, it's just a new thing that they're touting. I mean, you don't have to use it. That's pretty cool.
I might upgrade to it just to try it out.
Yeah, and plus, they're going to be shipping it. You're probably going to have to upgrade to it anyway, or you'll probably want to upgrade to it when the new one comes out. So
when you open up your browser and it goes, "You've been upgraded to 4," you're like, "What? Huh?
Okay, well, whatever."
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody know if it? I'm sorry, I haven't even really looked into it much, but does it handle the internet better? I guess on the multiple connection speeds, because I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I over tweaked my Firefox about config settings, but I reset them all back to normal and just sort of just changed a couple of them. But it seems like it doesn't do the internet as good as it should.
Really?
It doesn't manage speeds and connections very well. Like Firefox 3.6.15543.
Build platform number 4. No.
Yeah. Beta release 493 build 28.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I really don't know because I don't know. I'm sure it loses speeds, but I haven't. I'm sure you would.
Yeah, for example, just an example, the 5 seconds that I used Chrome when I tried to go back to it again last night or this morning.
Yeah.
Whenever that was, I went and did a speed test because I was like, I want to do a speed test to see if my internet's doing decently. I'm trying to figure out why it goes slow sometimes, and on Firefox it's running 25 meg speed test, and then you open up Google Chrome and it says 65. So it's to me it seems like Firefox is not managing my internet connection very well. Maybe because they're just not designed to manage fast internet connections. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've always thought that with Wirecast or something. How are they scaling? I mean, I know that you send a direct bit rate or whatever. Yeah, that's an interesting question.
That's right. Carla just reminded me why I stopped using the beta. Because they didn't have the flash got stuff and something else. Was it AdBlock or something?
Your AdBlock didn't work or a couple
other and I was like, no, forget it.
Yeah.
I was I can't.
I would probably bank on saying that most of your add-ons would work now, considering it's the release candidate. I mean, there might be a couple, because they're probably going to change something where it's going to break a couple add-ons, They can't
I like my download status bar. I like my AdBlock Pro or Plus, whatever.
Yeah.
And I like my, you can highlight some stuff and, say, Flash Git or whatever, and it downloads it all. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So we had. I know you're not on Twitter. You check Twitter on your phone a good bit, but I'm on Twitter all the time. If I'm sitting at a computer, Twitter's usually up. It might not be on, but it's up somewhere. I know Jeff's not a big fan of desktop Twitter, but I'm usually talking to people or.
Well, I always have my phone next to.
And I like sending replying to people, especially if I want to. I mean, if it's somebody, just be like, "Are you guys doing a show today?" On my phone, I'll just be like, "No," and then I'll send it out or something. But I like sharing. It's a little bit harder. It's a lot easier to do some things on a desktop and share it to Twitter or whatever. I mean, there's some things you know what I'm saying. I mean, if I'm just gonna tweet something, yeah, I'd probably rather do it on my phone. But anyway, I was looking on Twitter yesterday. My stream was filled with people buying the iPad 2. And granted, we're going to talk about South by Southwest later. And Apple even opened up a pop-up South by Southwest specific Apple store for the launch of the iPad 2. So they had this, I mean, they rented out a store space or something, and they put an Apple logo on the front, and they had 2,000 people waiting in line.
And it was actually for Android phones. They just didn't know it. That'd been hilarious.
It's like a Google thing, but it kind of has this little an Android shaped into an apple or something.
Yeah, it's got a little Android on the stem of the apple.
That would have been so funny. Anyway, the iPad 2 launched yesterday. A lot of people bought it, but Ars Technica did a study with their users over a course of 4 to 5 days, and this is one of the largest tech websites for tech news and things. And they said that 20% of their readers are planning on upgrading to the iPad 2. Which, I think and then they're asking the question, will you? And I think, honestly, I'm going to tell you in a minute if I am or not. But we've
Well,
talked
see,
about...
you got to read this the way it says. It says 20% of iPad owners say
Yeah, say.
they will
That
upgrade.
doesn't mean that they
That doesn't
are
mean
gonna.
they're going to.
Yeah.
They're just, I'll upgrade.
And that doesn't
I'll
mean that
upgrade.
they upgraded tomorrow either. So,
Yeah. I mean, unless you just got, like, cash laying around like crazy, you're going to want to probably sell your iPad before you, like, buy another one that's upgraded, or I
Yeah.
don't think they're going to have, like, you want to trade in your used iPad? Yeah. We'll take some money off the other one. Like, I don't see that happening because you're like, I mean, unless, like I said, you just got cash laying around or something, you don't know what to use, so you're like, I think I'll just go buy like 5 iPads and stuff. And
I think a lot of people who have iPads, they're going to be eventual upgrades. A lot of people do that, and they're not one of the nice things about the iPad compared to like an iPhone or an Android phone is most of them aren't subsidized. I don't even think the 3G ones are subsidized. Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't think they are because you can say I want the 3G version, but I don't want the data plan or something, and they'll give you the 3G version. So they've kind of worked it out. So anyway, cool thing about the iPad, you can upgrade, same price, whatever. You don't have to wait for your upgrade to come. So when you get the cash, you can just go buy one. You don't have to pay.
sell it for cash.
You don't have to pay $600 for a new phone if you break it or whatever. If the iPad was subsidized, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, honestly, I'm planning to upgrade to the iPad 2 because I'm thinking, especially since Apple did drop the price of the iPad, but not that much. I think I'm going to sell my iPad and just eat the $100 or the $50 or however much it is in between from what I sell it to the iPad 2. I was thinking about selling it to Gazelle.com. We've talked about Gazelle before. You trade in your gadgets or whatever, they'll give you money, send it back to you in a lot of different ways. You can get an Amazon gift card and a Walmart gift card, a check, or whatever you want to do. I've thought about there, but they'll only give you $300, and I have a feeling I could sell mine for more than $300. But honestly, I think that Apple kind of notorious for bringing out upgrades and not always being the they'll be like the 3GS kind of brings to my example. I mean, yeah, sure, it was like they said, it was 40% faster, 15% lighter, whatever. They always throw out these numbers. You're like, oh, that's cool, and it also comes in white. Okay, I guess I'm gonna buy it. I think this is I don't want to say an adequate, but it's an upgrade that compels me to buy a new one. It's not. I mean, it's not an upgrade where I'm not just sitting here saying I gotta have it. It's an upgrade where I'm gonna say, it's worth spending the money. And yeah, I mean, it's not one of those upgrades where I'm like, you know what, I can't wait to sell my iPad, so I'm
going to go camp outside.
Yeah, it's not
I'll
one of those.
see you guys in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's not one of those. Like, whatever. But honestly, I do kind of want it because it is they're saying it's thinner than the iPhone 4, and you can look at pictures, people's compared it. It is thinner than the iPhone 4, which I'll have to admit, the iPad is still a little. All right, this is how I feel. Jay, if you were just going to go out with your phone, you don't have to plan to do that. You just be like, hey, here's my phone. I'm going outside, iPad is kind of in between.
It's not going to stick in your pocket.
Yeah, it's not going to stick in your pocket. So you either have to plan. You got to be like, well, I got my a bag. I'm going to put it in, or I'm going to leave it somewhere. You have to be like, it's here. It's about the size of a notepad or something. You do kind of have to plan to bring it out. Not you see what I'm saying? It's not just like grab your iPad and go. It's like I gotta get I'm gonna have to figure out if I'm gonna be able to carry this around all day. Where am I gonna put it? Whatever. So I'm still the iPad is still a tiny bit heavy for me because I'm a person. I carry my iPad around. I carry it to school. It's always in my car with me. It's always whatever. And I know that's kind of stupid because my laptop weighs almost twice as much as an iPad does. So. But, it's still kind of, I would go for the extra portability and it being thinner. And the cameras, I mean, I'm not going to be shooting cameras because I got a DSLR camera that shoots, 12 or 18 megapixels, something like that. I got a phone that shoots, 8 megapixels. I mean, it'll be an interesting feature, but not that great, in my opinion. Anyway, pretty cool. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, next story, yeah. So, Jay, it was actually we woke up yesterday morning to some pretty bad news, actually really bad news, that Japan had the seventh largest earthquake seventh largest recorded of earthquake. Sorry, I can't
It was the
talk.
worst in like the last 100 years or something.
Yeah, it was the worst in I think it was 140 years or
Whoa.
something like that, 140 years. So yeah, I mean it was really bad. It's kind of still being debated. It was either like a 13 to 30 foot waves swept over much of the east coast of Japan, wiped out a ton of stuff. I mean, they're still under. I mean, we still don't even know what the real damage was. I mean, you can see the flyby images and things, but you can't actually. We don't know how many people have died and all this stuff. It's kind of interesting, especially in Japan, which is like the third largest connected. They have like the third most internet users. Of course, China's first, and I think maybe South Korea or one of the Koreas is second. Or the U.S. is third or fourth or something. Anyway, they're in the top 5 of most connected societies, and essentially all of the cell phone networks went down. And actually not all the cell phone networks, but all of the landline networks went down, which a lot of people in Japan don't have landlines. But you can't communicate with anyone that doesn't have a cell phone or an internet connection. And Twitter and Facebook played a very vital role, not only in Japan, but also in the U.S. I probably wouldn't have found out until I got to somewhere else. But, I saw somebody tweet something, 6 o'clock when I woke up. I was like, wow, I mean, I probably wouldn't have seen that. If I didn't have Twitter or Facebook, I probably wouldn't have seen that until I was just like, oh, let me check out CNN.com or whatever. Or looked at my news feeds or whatever. Twitter.
I saw it because one of my friends that I went to school with lives in Japan.
Yeah.
And he was
I saw
like,
him.
this is the biggest earthquake I've ever seen. I almost crap myself. And I was like, what?
But that was on Twitter. It was on Facebook, right?
That was on Facebook.
Yeah. So,
I was like, how'd that, what? And that's how I found out about it.
yeah.
So.
Anyway, Twitter.
Twitbook.
Yeah, no, Twitter and Facebook played very major roles in communicating and also helping find people, connecting people. Pretty cool.
Yeah, because I remember he was on there and he was saying, because the landlines were down, he says, I can't get in touch with people that don't have internet connections. And he goes, everybody, all my Japanese friends, check in on Facebook now. And they were like,
Yeah.
because he wanted to make sure that everybody was fine, and John
Yeah.
was crazy.
So, yeah, it's pretty bad, and a lot of people kind of put this in perspective. Everybody was talking about, we thought that the biggest story of the day yesterday was going to be the iPad 2 launch, and, nobody knew that this was going to happen, and everybody woke up to it in the U.S., and we're like, oh, okay, that's not good,
Yeah, and Steve Jobs probably thinks that somebody did this to
Yeah,
jinx him or
definitely.
something.
That's what it was.
Because
Somebody.
he's probably got that mental state right now.
Yeah. Jeff, I wanted to round out the last story because this is really what's ruling, that social cam guy we saw. I've kind of held off for talking about this because I wanted to say it for the end, but he was at a launch party for social cam at South by Southwest. And South by Southwest is, technically it's called South by Southwest Interactive, but it's a music film conference, but it's really turned into the non-business CES and the consumer deal. It's like pretty much a party for geeks. That's essentially
It's
what
like
it
a
is.
concert. You're like, oh yeah.
It's a concert.
Wait, what are we doing here? I don't know, but this is awesome.
awesome. And they got live Dig Nation. They do that. They've done that the past 2 or 3 years. That's when Leo crowd surfed. Anyway, it's pretty
Watch
big.
Dignation anymore.
Honestly, I want to go to South by Southwest before I someday I'd like to go to South by Southwest.
Yeah, I was even looking at it. I was like, where's it going to be this year? And then I looked at it and it's like all week long. I was like,
Now, CJ, it is one of the pluses. It is technically it's closer to our house than Vegas. But, when you're flying in a plane, it doesn't matter, honestly.
yeah. And also yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, I kind of like conferences, like when they have a conference in Atlanta or Texas or somewhere. I kind of like to see conferences that are really big around the tech community that aren't in New York or Vegas or California or something. I don't know why. It's just I don't know why. Anyway. But essentially that's going to be going on all week, and maybe I might be able to take one because I'm on spring break now. I'm spring breaking it up right now, and you can tell. Yeah, I mean, a couple days ago, it was yesterday. It was like 35. You know,
And what was it this morning?
I don't know, 40. I don't know. I haven't seen the vlog yet. How am I not gonna know?
32, dude. Or
32?
no, like 36.
I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, sorry. You haven't seen the vlog. My vlog tells you the temperatures every day.
Well, no, not really. But I don't look at the
I
temperature.
know the weather forecast. For new weather information, go to youtube.com/freakinghuge.
Yeah.
I could check out previous day's weather.
And plus, I wasn't in my car this morning. You know, most of the time I see it every morning on the way to school. Anyway, pretty cool, Jacob. We're running sort of long because we're almost to an hour long show, and plus we still got like 5 bookmarks. Jacob went bookmark wild today, so this week. So,
And the last one won't take that long.
Okay.
And really, none of the other ones will really take too long.
but they're still good.
Yeah. There were just some things I was saying.
So, Jay, I'm
Because I never like to contribute, but I want to.
pretty sure that we've talked about this before, but we never bookmarked it, and we never. I think we said like this launched or something, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and it's a little bit better now.
Yeah. It's called App Inventor. It's directly from Google. It's in the Google Labs, and it's in beta, but, you know, we honestly know what that means at Google. That means it's pretty much a release, honestly. Because, I mean, what was Gmail in beta for, like, 4?
Yeah,
I think it was
forever.
5 or 6
You actually had a
years.
plugin that you could turn on to turn off the beta.
Yeah.
And then after it came out of beta, you had a plugin to make it back in beta if you wanted to.
That's almost as useful as the Charlie Sheen plugin for...
Mhm.
But you want to tell us a little bit about App Inventor here?
Yes. App Inventor is if you have an Android phone, you can invent apps. That's pretty much the gist of it. No, but like it's like if anybody's familiar with like any kind of like Visual C++ and junk like that, whatever programming stuff, it's like that, but it's different. The logic's different. You don't have to write stuff when you're logically programming. You do the what you see is what you get thing, but it's really not what you see is what you get because basically you go in there and like program like draw up like whatever app you want to do, and you can do multiple screens and all that stuff. Then you go over into like the little like whatever they call it, bubble board or whatever it is, and you actually like it's like jigsaw puzzle pieces, and you like stick them together, and like when this does this, do this, and you can stick it together, and like when the phone sensor tilts like this, do this, you know. So it's really cool. You can completely control all aspects of the phone. Plus, you know, when you put it on different phones, of course the buttons are going to look like the standard buttons on the phone and not like whatever.
Yeah.
But you can make it look really nice by like overlaying images on your buttons, so you could actually make really nice looking buttons that are like opaque and stuff. And I mean, you can make your apps look really nice if you really tried. And it, like they were showing there on the video, like a little simple app that when you press the kitty on the picture, it like just
Which is probably like half the apps on the App Store for on Android and iPhone, honestly.
yeah. And so yeah,
That's pretty
it's
cool.
pretty cool.
You know, the only thing I would say, you're not gonna get like a Foursquare app out of this. I mean, you could if you actually put the time
Yeah,
in.
I mean, if you really tried hard,
Yeah.
Of course, Foursquare requires APIs
yeah,
and stuff.
but
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, hey, you want like some simple little like barcode logging program? You can do databases on it. You can do like a mini database. You can do cloud databases.
Yep.
You can do tons of stuff on this thing, and they got some like text to speech recognition stuff. I mean, it's really sweet.
Yep.
So I mean, if you really wanted to, you could full on make whatever you want. Plus, a lot of the apps on there that are free apps, you can go look at their developer community thing, and a lot of people just give you their source code. They're like, "Here's my app that I made on here," and like you can fully see how they made all these apps. You can get tutorials and templates and stuff, and then just customize it to however you want to do. So if you don't really know how to start, you can get someone else's app and sort of learn from that to see how they made it. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. A lot easier than like raw programming and junk. Plus, when you plug your phone up with the ADB thing, you can watch it on your phone and mess with it on your phone as you build it to make sure it works.
pretty cool. I'm gonna move on to the next bookmark here. I think is it the Big Huge Labs here?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
All right. I don't.
Oh.
I haven't really. I looked at them for a second, but I mean,
Yeah. The Big Huge Lab, they call it like Flickr toy. Yeah, they got like basically it's like cloud based like image script things. Okay, so I found it because I wanted to make a motivator or a demotivator thing, and they got it on there. You go to bighugelabs.com and they click on motivator, and basically you just upload a picture or pick your Flickr pictures or Facebook and center it however you want to do it. Pick your colors, whatever the text want to say, create, and you download it and save it, share it, whatever you want to do. And it's like instant. Like it's a lot easier than having to get out Photoshop to just do simple little stupid things that you just want to stick up on the internet. But it also does some pretty sweet things too. So yeah.
I like the fact that it syncs with not only Facebook but also Flickr and some other services. That way, sorry, I'm eating lunch here.
Really? I can't tell.
Fourth meal.
Yeah, fourth meal. That way, you don't have to upload stuff. I mean, uploading's not that bad, but for somebody that just it's pretty cool for somebody that just wanted to be like, I want to put myself in a picture frame or something. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Or like you want to stick yourself on the front of a fake magazine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Like if anybody remembers Nick's Nick's little like billboard thing. I think he didn't he do that on one of those?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's sort of like how it is. Or the puzzle piece. You can do puzzles, jigsaw things. I mean, there's some really cool things you can do on it. So
I forgot about that.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a nice way to kind of spice up your Facebook profile image or whatever you want.
Yeah, you just throw some random stuff on there.
That's
You
cool.
make a badge if you want your own ID card. Boom, headshot, done, whatever.
All right, so, I've used something like this next one before if we're on the right one, but to find new domains because you can't always find the domain that you want, and essentially, or even if you're trying to like name a company or something else, this is a great tool to find a name. I know it does like Web 2.0 stuff, so that's pretty cool. It'll make like like Flickr or something like that. Not exactly, but So, is it Dotomator? Is that how you say it, I guess?
Yeah, Dotomator.
Right.
Like tomato.
Tomato?
I don't
like
know.
Dotomator? I don't know.
Dotomator.
Anyway, it looks like you just kind of, choose some keywords or it'll
Yeah,
just...
and this is just like their full out thing. They have one that's just like I think it's the Web 2.0 name generator. No, just kidding. There was one on here that was just random stuff.
Yeah, it is.
But this one you can halfway like pick list of things like I want Web 2.0 words with Tech 3 or something, and then you hit combine, and it gives you all these things like Babel base and snap tag, and then you can go in there and hit check and check the availability and see if any of those are registered domains, and if they're not, grab a hold of it. So
Pretty cool. It's kind of funny here. I was just doing it. Twitter comes out like 3 times, and like something ending with book or something all comes up like half the time. So they are completely random, but it's pretty funny.
yeah.
All right, and then we had this last one. This is really why you actually started trying out Google Chrome again, because you had looked at this.
Well, actually, I tried out Google Chrome, and then I was digging through the settings just to see what they had, and I was like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. It's Google Cloud Print. Still in beta, of course. It's a Google product.
Yep.
Essentially, it's just a sync in between your Google Chrome and your printer, right?
Yeah.
You can.
And I think you can also do this on your phone also.
That's cool.
So I think they have an app or something like that.
Yeah.
I haven't really checked, but yeah.
Yeah, it does require Google Chrome, of course, but you can use it. This is pretty cool because you can use it in Docs. because we use Docs a lot. I might want to print out the show notes or something. A lot of people use Docs for presentations and all that different kind of stuff.
So, like, say, for example, Nick added whatever to
our Docs account.
the print cloud. It's like, here's the show notes, and he hits print to my printer at my house, and he can print it out of my house. Or whatever.
Yeah.
You're at work, and you want to print something out at your computer at home. Instead of having to put it on a flash drive, email it to yourself, whatever, open it up when you get home, and then print it out, you just hit print, and it prints it out at your house.
I think it's interesting too because it kind of works sort of like a network printer, but not really because you don't even have to be on the same network.
Yeah, it's like a wide area network printer.
Yeah,
Network thing.
pretty cool.
It's like a VPN for your printer.
Yep. And
So,
I think that the cool thing is it actually syncs very well with Docs, so it'll actually like print out the right format and everything. You know, if you just hit the print button in Docs, it might not always format it right or whatever. But pretty cool.
Yeah, and there actually is a Google app
Okay,
on Android.
that's cool. So you can
It's
actually
done by someone else, so be careful with that. But
Yeah.
I think he's just like sort of shoved it over somewhere. But yeah, you can actually just print stuff right off your phone, which, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some other apps out there like that. But I just like the fact that Google like incorporated it into a browser.
I think this is something that they plays a major role inside of Chrome OS, because you don't actually have drivers for printers, so you can just be, yeah, this is my printer, go. And pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that does it for this episode of Tech Weekly. I can't talk. Tech Weekly episode 39, to be in fact. You can follow Jacob on Twitter, twitter.com/freakinghuge, FreakinHuge. Also, check out his vlogs over at youtube.com/freakinghuge. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/DannickJones. Spell it out. And also, you can check PBcast TV out on Twitter, twitter.com/PBcast TV, youtube.com/PBcast TV. Best way to go, pbcasttv.com. Check that stuff out. And, yeah. We got some new stuff coming up, pbcasttv.com, so stay tuned to that. I keep, I shouldn't eat during shows. Anyway, yeah, really cool stuff coming out of pbcasttv.com. Still making YouTube videos. We're going to make a lot more this week. But anyway, guys, until next week, I'm Nick Jones.
I'm Jacob Roberts.
And this is Tech Weekly. See you guys.
Peace.